right, welcome back to the TNT show. We just finished up. Well, not just finished up, but college football week one, week two. Sorry, it's still getting all the kinks out of the introduction stuff. Sorry about that. Yeah, college football week two is done. I know we gave our predictions. So what we're gonna do in this episode is strictly college football. We're gonna break down those predictions and then give you our predictions for week three. So I'm gonna let Tyler take it away, and we're gonna go from there.
So we had some big upsets this week in college football. Uh, some of them surprising, some of them you could say not so surprising. I think the biggest one of them all was I don't know how shocking it was to a lot of people, but Notre Dame got upset by Northern Illinois. So that probably I wouldn't say that hurt them of making the playoffs because it's 12 teams now. But losing to somebody like that. They didn't just lose.
Definitely
They got
hurts.
they got embarrassed. So, I think that's the biggest they got a lot to work on. They got embarrassed by a team that should had no right to even been, in the ballpark. So
Yeah, I think it definitely hurts them because I mean, with 12 teams, your margin for error is very low. So losing to a team like that early on, it kind of stings. Because let's say we get to the end of the season and they have that one loss, but you're going up against another team that only has one loss, but to a much better opponent.
yeah. So a
So
ranked
it'd be
team.
hard to put them in.
Um Texas dominated Michigan. I figured they would. I don't know if Texas is the real deal or if Michigan's just not that good. I know Michigan lost J.J. McCarthy, lost Blake Corum, lost a lot on defense, lost your coach. So, it could be a handful of things, or Texas could just be legit. Quinn Ewers is balling, so
Yeah, you definitely like what you saw from Texas, especially against a premier opponent like Michigan. But is it fair to say that Michigan just isn't going to be that good this year? Because if you notice, just like in that first game, the quarterback struggled. Um, they just look out of sorts at times, and Texas just. I think it's definitely fair to say Texas is. You can pencil them in for the playoffs. They are going to be a very tough team to beat. Michigan, I think if they can figure it out, I think they can still get in there. Because, I mean, you're losing to Texas, which is definitely a potential playoff team. So they can run the table and convince the committee to get them in there. I think they definitely make it.
speaking of a team that could be a problem, Tennessee dominated NC State. I think it was like 51-10 or something like that. It's something like that, something along those lines. Um, you know, Nico is playing ball right now. Their whole just offense and defense are firing on all cylinders. So this is kind of bringing them back to when they had what was that quarterback's name? A couple years ago when they were really good. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Hendon Hooker.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
When they had him, they were, they beat Alabama. They were going. Then all of a sudden, they lost a couple games and he got hurt. But now they're kind of back on that track of, okay, look out for Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah,
could be a big problem in the SEC,
they,
especially.
they beat a ranked opponent in NC State.
Yeah,
I can't really say how good NC State is because, again, that's another team that struggled in like that first half of the game in week one and found a way to win. Uh, Again, it's still too early to tell because it's only, week two. So Tennessee, with the what you said about Tennessee, though, I can agree with. Nico looks really good. The entire offense is definitely on the same page. They got a lot of explosive playmakers. Defense is, of course, still as good as it's been over the last few years. So, potential playoff team, maybe.
Auburn, I I don't even know. Peyton Thorne struggled, obviously. I don't know if it's him or what it is, but he can go from playing really great, like last year took Alabama and Georgia down to the wire. Had both of them beat in just, big plays on offense, Alabama with the 4th and 31, and then Georgia and Brock Bowers, they just couldn't stop him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's him because they brought in all these 5-star recruits and all these people from the portal. I don't know if Hugh Freeze is just don't have any better options, or I don't know.
I think I don't. I think it's literally just Peyton. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's just Peyton. You can't pin. Oh, I honestly I didn't watch the game, so I can't say if those four picks were all on him.
Oh yeah, they were
But
all on him.
yeah, see, you can't. That's you got to make the change. Which I think you said the backup's supposed to start.
They're gonna split snaps. Hugh Freeze said that he will see some play.
I wouldn't even split the snaps. I just go ahead and make him feel the pressure. Bench him like Nick Saban did Jalen
Alabama
Milrow.
did to Milrow. Yeah, you could do
Yeah,
that.
because you got to let him understand that, like, yeah, you're the starter, but it's not sweet. Like, I don't act like this guy behind you can't just come out of nowhere and take the job.
Yeah.
But I mean, Auburn, they just gotta. They were supposed to. They were on the radar this season. They brought in, like you said, they brought in all the really good recruits. They brought in some really good top receiver recruits. The guys out of the portal. Their running back room was supposed to be really good with Jarquez Hunter coming back. It's just, I think it's just Peyton Thorne. You gotta move on.
I
It
would at
can't
least
get any
try.
worse.
It can't get any worse. Yeah, you were
Exactly.
losing. You were already losing. Like what? How much worse could the other guy have been? Anybody. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, like you said, just put somebody else in. See if we can get a spark going. It was a 7-point game. They only lost by 7. You never know. You put that other guy in, y'all might win by 14.
Yeah. Jump into Alabama. They struggled. I know the score at the end, if you didn't watch the game, might say otherwise. It was like 42-13 or something like that. But it was a 6-point game the whole entire game. Alabama just scored at the end a bunch because they kind of wore them down after a little bit. Um,
Honestly, it was
I
a
think
what was it? It was a 5-point game. I think going into the
fourth
fourth
quarter.
quarter. Yeah, 5 point. It was like 21-16 going into the fourth quarter, and then they. I don't even want 75. Formby. Oh man, he was. I don't know why it took them till the fourth quarter to take him out.
Yeah,
I
their O
mean,
line needs some work.
see, like I said earlier, I don't think they need work. I think they just need to get. First
Healthy.
off, they need to get Caden Proctor healthy. He needs to get healthy because once he comes back in, uh, Tyler Booker doesn't have to play at tackle because he was getting cooked at tackle.
Yeah, not his forte. He's a run blocker, not a pass blocker. He's
Not to
playing
mention
guard. It's
Elijah Pritchett.
kind of tough to
Elijah
happen.
Pritchett missed almost the whole game. So, uh, basically, they were down 2 starters, and then they put one of them back in the fourth quarter. They said he could have played, but they wanted to be precautious. Obviously, that didn't matter when you put him in the fourth quarter because you thought you were going to lose. Which,
Right.
come on, if you felt that strongly, you should have played him in the quarter when the game was still like 7-6.
Yeah, and got up on him. Then you could have took him out.
I think this is that was a good scare for them to understand that no matter how much talent you have, depth wise, even anybody can beat you on any given day. Florida,
Yeah.
South Florida was a possession away from taking a lead at a point in the game, which could have really swung the momentum because that defense was swarming all night long.
Oh yeah. Because didn't they? Yeah, they fumbled on the goal line, didn't they?
Yeah, Alabama came. Alabama came out of halftime, fumbled a kickoff return that would have been a big gain, fumbled a run that went for about, I don't know, maybe 20 or so yards. Just too many. They got to clean up a lot of stuff. Clean up the turnovers. Definitely clean up the penalties. They got to get disciplined because Wisconsin is another opponent that's going to give you a good game. And not to mention the rest of the slate. You can't come out like how you did against USF, against Georgia, or they're going to run them out the building.
Oh yeah. If they play like that against Georgia, it's going to be 51-10 for sure. Georgia will. They got to get. They have a bye week before Georgia, so they can get healthy. They got a week off, so that'll be a good game. But yeah, like you said, they got to clean up them penalties. And they just got to get healthy. Now, they got a lot of people hurt. Jump into Colorado, overrated as always. Nebraska drugged them all over the field. They're blaming
Oh yeah,
everybody but themselves.
oh yeah.
They're blaming the O line. It's everybody. It doesn't matter. I've said it once. I don't know if Shador Sanders is that good because we can't really see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he
hard
looks
to.
good. He looks good against these schools that suck, obviously. But
Yeah,
every time they play somebody of a caliber that's good, they get drugged.
yeah.
Offensively, he got hit. I don't even know how many times he got hit. I felt bad for him. He walked off the field with like 2 minutes to go. I think he was going to get checked on because I mean at that point it was 28-10. It doesn't really matter.
So is it just the O line? I mean, because honestly, you see what he can do when he
Their
has
O
the time and
line, their
protection.
defense, offensively, I think they're okay. Their O line is terrible.
Now,
Defense, they might as well not even have a defense out there when they're playing these good teams. They might as well
you
just
kind
go
of
score for score.
you kind of knew coming into the season their defense was still going to be just as bad, just because. I mean, yeah, they brought in portal players, but that doesn't always just give you a quick turnaround.
Yeah,
Your
and
defense has to
like
already
you
be.
mentioned, you're bringing in portal players that didn't really play.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like I don't know if I mean could you really draft Fedor this high? I don't know. It's tough because look what
I
he
think
does
you do.
against competition.
Yeah, but I think it's not entirely his fault because you know what he can do when he has the time to make plays. But when he doesn't, it's hard to. It's even hard for the best quarterbacks to look good when your offensive line's not protecting you.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They'll probably win 4 or 5 games if I had to take a guess. Oregon struggled again.
I
They're
don't know what's
not
going on.
looking too great. They had to replace a lot of guys.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
they
they lost
they
Bo
brought
Nix.
in a lot of they brought in a lot of really good players though.
Yeah, well, back to your point, that doesn't always mean nothing. I
I
thought
mean,
Dylan Gabriel was going to come in and just kind of cook. To be honest,
he this is the crazy part. He's cooked 2 games in a row, but it seems like the defense can't really stop people from scoring, and they
yeah,
can't really. He's don't get me wrong, he's cooking, but they're not putting up a bunch of points.
I think they're trying to
So
take drives. I think he's had a lot of long drives, like 10,
I
12 play drives.
I get. I see. Again, it's hard to because their games come on pretty late, so it's hard to really watch games like that because you can't really sit down and watch them. It's too late.
Yeah, they don't kick off till about 10 o'clock.
But again, I don't know what's up with Oregon. I mean, they brought in one of the best receivers in the portal from Texas A&M, Evan Stewart. You got Dylan Gabriel, who's a Heisman favorite. You have you brought back Jordan James, a very good running back. Your defense, you got one of the best corners from Washington. They did a lot, and they bringing back a lot of guys. I think they brought back a lot of guys from last year's team, or a decent amount. So it's a really good football team. I think it's just, again, it's very early. It's week 2. I think Oregon is definitely a playoff team.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it's early. You know, new recruits, new everything. It's kind of hard to everybody get on the same page this early in the game.
Yeah.
Iowa State pulled up the upset and beat Iowa. Didn't really watch the game, but that was one thing that was one of my upset alerts was them. So I didn't really watch the game. Um, yeah, they brought back Cade McNamara. So I didn't really watch that game, so I just know they got upset. I know I've talked about them, so
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not surprised by that. Iowa doesn't score a lot. They can't really score a lot. So they rely on their defense to win football games, and that's really tough to do, especially regular season wise. Playoffs, I can say a defense could maybe get you a championship, but you got to have some kind of offense, and they just don't.
based off of what I've seen right now, the top four teams, no particular order: Georgia, Texas. Um, my mind just went blank. Georgia, Texas, Missouri. My mind went blank.
I can't really give a top 4, so maybe like week 5,
In
just
Tennessee,
because.
those are the four
Just
best teams that
because
I've seen.
I want to see what's first. I want to see what a lot of the SEC teams look like in SEC play, or I want to see what a lot of these teams look like in their conference. Um, I also because some teams didn't really play a whole lot of competition in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, Tennessee is a prime example. You know, like you said, I don't know how good NC State is. Yeah, they were ranked, but they still beat them 51-10. I mean, they weren't favored by that much.
Yeah,
But
top
other than
25
that, yeah,
team.
they the first week they didn't. I don't even know who they played.
I
I don't
couldn't
even
tell
know
you.
who they played. Somebody I ain't never heard of, or a small school.
I couldn't tell you.
But South Carolina beat the brakes off Kentucky, and Kentucky was favored in that game.
Man, I was surprised by that one. I thought Kentucky had a pretty good football team, and South Carolina barely beat Old Dominion. So
Yeah,
to beat up
but
on
it
Kentucky
happens.
like that, I was really surprised. Like, I was genuinely surprised. I thought Kentucky was gonna give South Carolina the work, but it was definitely the other way around.
And it happens. Sometimes you underestimate these little teams. Next thing you know, you're getting beat, and there really ain't nothing you can do about it.
Exactly.
It happens. It's happened to us. It's happened to Auburn last year, getting beat by New Mexico State, getting drugged. I mean, we've lost to Troy.
Yeah.
It
Nick
just happened.
Saban's first year, Alabama lost to Louisiana Monroe. So
It
it
just
definitely
happened.
happened.
Um,
So who we got left on the slate? LSU.
yeah, but yeah, I'll touch on them. Defense definitely needs some work for sure. I don't know. I don't know what we got going on. That Guggenheim, whatever his name is from Nichols, he had 150 yards. He run the ball all over us, and there wasn't nothing we could do to stop it till the second half. The fourth quarter, we stopped them finally. But as far as the defense, I don't know. It's like I don't know if it's necessarily the players, if it's what we're trying to do, or what we got going on. But yeah, we definitely got to get better on the defensive side of the ball, or it's going to be bad when it gets into SEC play. It's going to be like it was last year. But Brian Kelly said in his little press conference that he had was Garrett Nussmeier came out and said that, you know, he's willing to run the ball and, extend the plays. So I do like that. I kind of wish he would have done that in the USC game because there was plenty of times, in my opinion, when he could have ran for the first down. I know he's not the most athletic quarterback I've ever seen, but he ran for the first down. I know it's Nichols, but he still ran for the first down, ran for like 15 yards. So I think we definitely got to figure out a run game because if we don't have a run game, it's probably going to be a couple losses. I think we'll offensively through the air, we'll keep it close. But if we play a team with a solid defense that got some really good corners and a good secondary, I think we might be in trouble if we can't run the ball. He did get hurt in the Nichols game, so keep an eye on that this week. I don't know. I'm not. We play South Carolina, so probably not going to be a slouch week. So we're going to have to figure some stuff out. I know we brought in Jawan Johnson. I think that's his name. He's played like two different positions. They put him at running back to try to help out that backfield with John Emery tearing his ACL. I'm not really sure. I thought Caleb Jackson was going to be the dude. We just got a whole rotation going on right now with the whole running back room between Caleb Jackson, Josh Williams, Johnson. We had somebody else in there. I don't even know who he was. But yeah, Brian Kelly's got to get it together. I I've been saying it. I think if we don't get it together and we somehow lose 5 or 6 games, I think I think they're going to be pushing him a little bit. So I don't know. We just got to, like you said with Alabama, we got to be disciplined, cut out the penalties. I don't know what we got to do that. Like Brian Kelly said, we're in the same position that we were in last year. We're struggling to run the ball. We don't have Jaden Daniels, so quarterback wise, we're just gonna have to put it through the air. But I've liked what I've seen from Nussmeier, so he's going to sling it now. He might throw some interceptions here and there, but as far as that goes, yeah.
So overall, as far as that game went, um, the defense, like you said, defense is still a question mark because Nickel State, how many did they end up scoring? By 20 or so, something like that?
It was 20, yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
that's
close game there for a little bit.
I don't know how good Nicholls State is, but for them to score 21 points is a little crazy for a team like LSU or a team of their caliber per se. Um, I still like LSU though. No, as much as it's weird to say that, but I still like LSU. I think they're a good football team. Uh, they just put the defense together, and I think when they do that, plus like you said, if Nussmeier can take what the defense gives him as far as running the football, I think he can definitely be a threat. Not saying he has to run for 100 plus yards a game, but if he chips in like 40, picks up some first downs, maybe moves around the pocket to try to create. I could definitely pay dividends.
Yeah, I mean, just extending the play. Like if he could, there, like I said, there were times in the USC game if he would have just pick up 4 or 5 yards, slide, try to extend the play. I
Yeah.
get it. It's the first game. You don't want to get hurt. Blah blah blah. But I just think, in my opinion, that he could have ran for the first down at least twice. I've seen at least twice. But
Oh yeah, absolutely.
let's jump. Let's jump into. We got the week 3 slate here. We'll start off with Alabama, Wisconsin. I think, like you said, I'm not saying Alabama's going to lose, but this could be a trap game. That if they play like crap, Wisconsin could sneak up and beat them. I'm not saying they're going to get beat, but there's a chance that if they don't play good, Arkansas is going to give them a run for their money, at least for a little bit. I could be wrong. Alabama might come out and beat them 54-0, but I think Wisconsin's going to keep it close. Alabama doesn't play well at 11 o'clock.
If they come out like how they came out against USF, I think there's a good chance that, like you said, maybe they could lose. But I think if they come out focused, disciplined, everybody's healthy, the offensive line is in the place it should be, I think they probably win by a couple scores. That defense, our defense, the Alabama's defense is
Going to
from
keep
the
them in
two
it.
games that I've seen, they will keep opponents off the scoreboard. I will say that they're going to do that. Now, obviously, first 2 games weren't against high caliber teams, so it's hard to keep that statement on track. But I think that defense is still very good, though. I think they'll be able to keep opponents off the scoreboard. I like Alabama 37-20.
Yeah, same. I think they'll do like they did against South Florida. I think they'll sit that tackle. They're going to go into a bye. I think that you don't play them unless you need to, because you got Georgia Georgia's next. After the bye, you got Georgia, and they need to be healthy for that. So I think if Alabama's healthy and they're moving the ball, I think they're going to win 35-14. But if they come out and struggle, I'm gonna say 28-17.
That's pretty fair.
I
That's
think
pretty
it might
fair.
be close. I think it'll either be a close game or Alabama's going to blow them out. That's pretty much what I got. If
No,
Alabama struggles, it'll be close. But if Alabama's firing on all cylinders, Pritchard's healthy, it is Wisconsin. I don't think that they have the best team.
I agree.
But
I agree.
but you never know. Alabama comes out sluggish at 11 o'clock. They are playing at Wisconsin.
It is an away game, and Wisconsin is not like bottom of the barrel
Yeah,
atmosphere.
team. Yeah. So
Those fans are gonna be rowdy. That
Wisconsin
place is
usually
gonna be
has
rocking.
some really good. They produce some talent. I mean, they've produced some great running backs in the league and
Yeah,
some really good defensive players. So
Yeah.
Wisconsin usually has a pretty solid team. I just think Alabama will wear them down after a while. If it's a close game, Alabama will wear them down after a while. We got LSU at South Carolina. Game day is in Columbia.
I hate to do this to you, but
I don't think
I'm
we'll lose.
I'm taking South Carolina.
Okay.
Uh,
What's your score?
I'll say 37-34.
I think this is the game we make a statement.
You think so?
I think so. I think we're going to come out. We've seen what we need to work on. I think we're going to come out, and I think we're going to play the best game we've played all year.
Okay. Well, what's your
I, th-
score?
I, I think we're going to win 35-17.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. I'm just saying. I think South Carolina, the way they put the smackdown on Kentucky, they might
Yeah,
have
that
some.
worries me
They
a
might
little bit.
they might have something to prove
But
because
we're going to
South
score.
Carolina. When was the last time South Carolina was halfway decent?
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like a sneaky team. They're that sneaky team that you never know, you never can tell. They always beat somebody they shouldn't. But I think this is the game that we need to make a statement here. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
We're fixing to get into SEC play, and we need to make a statement here. We need to dominate on the offensive line. We need to get our defense together. I think this is the game that we've kind of figured out, but it's hard to say. But I think we handle South Carolina. We got Texas A&M and Florida.
Ooh.
I don't know if DJ Lagway is going to get the start. I would assume
He
so. I
should.
haven't heard anything about Graham Mertz.
He should.
I think Florida beats Texas A&M. I think it'll be close. I think they're going to beat them 27-20.
I was gonna say 2017, Florida.
You said 20-17.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2017, Florida.
Okay. Yeah, I think they win by. I think Florida wins by a score. I think they can beat Texas A&M, especially if Lagway plays. I think Texas A&M just doesn't have it all quite figured out yet.
I
we got
I
we got Georgia and Kentucky. That
Oh
probably will be an
man,
absolute blowout.
if
Uh,
Kentucky come out anything close to what they came out against South Carolina, they
they're
might.
gonna get beat.
Georgia might score 7.
Yeah, this game's hard. It's hard to tell. I don't really know. I don't want to give some stupid prediction because Kentucky usually gives Georgia. It's a big rivalry game for Georgia,
Yeah,
so I don't really know. I'm gonna say 35. I don't know. This is tough. I don't know.
I'm just gonna say 63-10, just because I want to be the one to say something out of pocket.
63-10.
I just want to be the one to say something out of pocket. So I
Okay.
think the backups. I think the backups are gonna come in and still put up points.
Yeah,
That's how I'm
if they play like that, I'm gonna say if it's a blowout, I'll do my blowout score. I think it'll be 55, maybe 7. I mean, they held Clemson to 3 points, and Clemson has a way better team than Kentucky.
supposedly, allegedly.
I'm gonna say 48-13.
That's pretty decent.
We got Missouri at Boston College. I think Missouri handles them.
I want that game to be good so bad because Boston College looked really good against Florida State. Um, yeah, I think Missouri. I think Missouri's just they're going to be a little too much for Boston College. But I'll take them with a score of 35-21.
Hey, that's exactly what I have. 35-21.
Yeah, I think Boston College still finds ways to score, but they won't be able to keep up with
Yeah, Missouri's
Missouri.
just going to have way too much firepower. I don't even know if they score this many on Missouri, to be honest. I think it might be close for a little bit, but Missouri just has way too much talent on the offensive side.
Yeah,
I think Notre Dame's going to get upset again against Purdue.
I don't.
I think
Not
they're
gonna
going
lie
to
to
lose
you.
back to back.
I don't think so.
I think they're going to get beat 21-20
I think I think they squeak out a close one. I'm gonna say 24-20
or 23. I'm sorry, 23-20.
because I just don't think Purdue has enough to beat Notre Dame.
Well,
I know they lost.
Northern Illinois did the same thing.
I know they lost to Northern Illinois, but I mean, normally teams will respond from that kind of stuff, and I feel sorry for the next opponent who has to play a team who just lost to Northern Illinois. So I mean, I don't.
And then the last game, I got TCU versus UCF. I think UCF will beat them. KJ Jefferson, coming from Arkansas, he's a solid quarterback. I think
Yeah.
UCF will beat them. I haven't really kept up with TCU. I think
Well,
they got some pieces.
I'll tell you this: they're a Big 12 team. Big 12 teams don't play defense.
Yeah,
Gonna be a
this is
lot of
going to be a high
points.
scoring game.
A lot of points. I know UCF doesn't play a lot of defense, so it's gonna be a lot of points. Um, I think it's a shootout. I'll
Yeah, I said
just give a score.
45-38.
I'm gonna say 55-44.
UCF or TCU.
Oh my bad. UCF. UCF wins.
Okay. Well, that pretty much wraps up the predictions that we have for the teams that we're talking about. And the recap for last week. So, still working on some stuff. We actually have a thing in place for the live. We tested it. It worked right, Tavius.
Yeah,
Like everything
it
worked
works.
for the.
It works good. We gotta mess around with it. See if there's anything we can change as far as what's on the screen, what's not on the screen, so on and so forth. Can we edit certain things into the live broadcast, so on and so forth. So
I
yeah,
am gonna put
things
our
are
score predictions. I am gonna put our score predictions in the comments below. Um, please comment. Teams that y'all have getting upset or any score predictions y'all have, or if you want to tie into the scores that we have, feel free to comment on those. Um, yeah, we are trying to work on doing something live at least maybe once a month, once every couple weeks. We're trying to figure that out. Yes, we're not professionals. We have everyday lives. We work. Schedules are not always lining up. We do have a schedule that we are going to drop with this that we've it's going to work. It's going to be 2 episodes a week, one college football, one NFL, so it separates the two.
yep. And
We're
when
getting there.
the other sports kind of come around, like NBA, college basketball, we'll still sprinkle a little bit of that stuff in there. And at some point down the road, maybe we'll get our own, segments for those sports too, or at least a piece of an episode for those two. That way, we can still include all the sports that are going on.
Right. It has been a work in progress. there have been weeks where we haven't dropped one at all. So I really do, and I know Tavius does too. We really do appreciate everybody that listens. Keep hanging in there with us. I think we finally figured out a schedule that's we're going to be pumping them out. Like I said, 2 episodes a week, so be on the lookout for that. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's all we got for this episode. Like I said, we got 2 episodes coming every week, and we're gonna be very strict about that too. So there's not gonna be we're not gonna miss a beat basically. If anything differs, it's probably because holidays and stuff like that. But other than that, we'll have 2 every week for y'all. NFL on Wednesdays, college football on Tuesdays. So yeah, just keep rocking with us. We appreciate y'all, and we will catch y'all in the next episode.